What's up, everyone? This is the AMZ Answers podcast, your Monday, Wednesday, and Friday podcast for 10-minute blasts of Amazon knowledge. Yep, we changed our release schedule a little bit, but this is episode number 32. Get your items packaged very, very cheaply for your first item. Hey, everyone. We're also really excited to be invited on the Domain Name Wire podcast with Andrew Allman. There's many different kinds of online business, and I know he's an expert in buying and selling domains. So we talked a little bit about Amazon FBA and a little bit about buying and selling domains, which we're interested in as well. So go ahead and check that out. I'll include it in the show notes, link to it. Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the AMZ Answers podcast. I am Adam. I'm up here at the dog shack with my brother Noah.
What's up?
What's going on? The dog is on the bed, and this is episode number 32.
Sleepy dog.
Get your items packaged
cheaply. Basically, how to get. So we talked about packaging a lot,
but not
right?
Not just cheaply, goodly.
We talked about packaging as a differentiator, and sometimes you're going to be talking to a supplier, and they're going to be like, "We don't do packaging," or they're going to quote you a price for packaging, and you're like, "What is this?"
Yeah. Guys, if you're listening to this episode, this is the first time you listen to the AMZ Answers podcast, make sure you go back and listen to the starting 25. It's the first 25 episodes. We'll get you from an Amazon zero to an Amazon hero, having an item out there, from not knowing what to do, having an item out there. That's all I'll say about that. Noah, what's a gripe that you have for this episode?
A gripe that I have is that this morning I had to mix two different kinds of coffee to make the requisite coffee for our day of AMZ Answers.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting the same taste. Like, I like to have coffee, I want to taste it like how the makers wanted me to taste it, not this chimera that I put together.
Blends. You just have a gripe against blends.
I don't like blends. I want the pure taste, right?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
I agree.
Also, guys, coming up in 2 weeks is our course that can take you from never having done an Amazon item to having a great item, or a great item idea. So that's coming up in 2 weeks.
Look for that.
Yep, look for that. Adam, what's up? What's your gripe?
I have a gripe. One of my gripes is, I can't find my pulse really easily. I wish it was easier to find. Whenever I'm in a CPR class or something, I can't find it at
Weird
all.
one.
It's very slow.
Weird gripe.
And I can't find it. It's like lodged between some veins.
I can't find it either.
Wish it was easier. Wish it was easier to find. There you go.
Don't we all?
All right. 32.
Okay, 32. So sometimes you're going to be talking to your supplier about packaging, and they're going to be like, we don't do packaging, or the only way to do custom packaging is if you pay over $1 a unit. Basically, rule of thumb, if you're paying over $1 a unit for packaging, something's up. Like, it's probably too expensive.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So basically, a way that I've done to get packaging really cheaply is I have one packaging supplier that packages about 5 of my items. And so because I order from them in such quantity, they give me a huge discount. So that's the first thing. Of course, when you're doing your first item, you're not going to be able to do that.
What's the price per item usually in these packages?
I have a 30.33, so 33 cent packaging, which is amazing. Unbelievably cheap.
Yeah.
This
is for custom packaging.
Yeah, I started at $1.20.
But you also have to get those packages sent to your suppliers, right?
Yes, so that's part of my thing. In your first item, the way that this is going to save you money is because, first of all, the packaging supplier, it's very easy to find a packaging supplier in Alibaba. Just type in the kind of box you want. And these people, they specialize in packaging, right? Just like your supplier specializes in plastic goods or whatever. So they're going to be able to give you a cheaper rate. And what they're going to do is they're going to send that to the supplier. Another good thing about this is that you don't need to pay for a sample, because if you've already worked through your item supplier, so let's say I work through my tape measure supplier and like we're getting somewhere and I'm going to order from them, I can have the packaging supplier send a sample of my custom packaging to the tape measure supplier, and the tape measure supplier will take a picture of it and check it for me. And that way I don't need to send it all the way to the US and pay $60 or even $100 sometimes.
How much is the shipping with that 33 cents?
How much is the shipping?
Yeah.
The shipping is included.
Oh, wow.
They include this. Yeah, no, I've gotten it to an amazing deal. Obviously, when I first started this item, right, it was $1.20 for packaging. And now, because of the bulk that I can order in, and because of the strategy I've used with doing all my packaging orders at the same time, I've gotten it down to 33 cents, which is a huge difference.
Okay. And if people hit you up in the Facebook group, would you direct message them a referral to the packaging company?
I would refer you guys to a packaging company in the US that I've used before that's really good, and I will refer you to this supplier as well,
if you so wish. So that's hit Noah up in the AMZ Answers community if you want to. Also with cheap packaging, so you do that. There's also other ways to get cheap packaging besides finding a really good supplier that does your packaging. You could also, as we've said before, put a sticker or a label on the bag instead of doing custom packaging. And sometimes they won't bill you for that at all.
Yeah, so that's a really good way. Before you agree to the price, that's a really good way to do your first kind of packaging where you're still testing the item. Right? Once you see that the item is good and you want to put some actual investment in, you can do the packaging. But just slapping a sticker on it is a really good way to test the item.
I always think that it's in your initial emails on Alibaba or your initial messages, it's always worth asking, can you do custom packaging? Because a lot of the times that they will throw it in for free on your first order.
Yeah, they will.
They will, especially if you're going against another supplier, they'll throw it in for free. So, and then if they throw it in for free, you can lock them in by being like, is this always going to be free packaging? If they say yes, then good for you. That's free packaging on your item included. So I think always ask that in the first message to get cheap packaging. There's that method. There's the method you've been talking about, is finding a separate supplier to do your packaging. And then there's the third one, which is just doing a sticker on the bag or a sticker on their regular box. Like a sticker of your label of your brand.
Yeah.
Cheaply brand it.
You can even see this too. If you're like, I don't want to worry with the design and I don't want to bother with Photoshop, ask them if they'll do custom packaging and then send them like maybe just send them your logo and be like, can you guys come up with some My first packaging for my tape, I didn't come up with the design at all. They did the design for me. They offered it like for free, and I was like, great, I don't have to worry about this. So it's possible that if you're getting some packaging done, you don't want to deal with the design, just send them your logo and be like, hey, what do you guys think you should put on here? It'll be a generic design they'll put on, but it's better than nothing, and you'll have no work.
That's a really good supplier, though.
Yeah, but this is the U.S. packaging supplier that did this actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working with a package-specific supplier.
Yeah, but so it was almost like a U.S. vendor in that they got the packages from China, but it was nice to deal with a U.S. company for it. Of course, it's a little bit more expensive.
So when you were doing that route, you were having the U.S. packaging being sent to an assembler, the items being sent to an assembler.
Okay, yeah. So it was kind of miserable. I had the U.S. packaging, right? That would come. I had the U.S. packaging that would then go to an assembler, and then I had my item that would come, and it would go to that same assembler in the U.S., and then it would go to Amazon. It was way too confused.
Right. That's pretty crazy. So now you switched to a Chinese packager.
I switched to a Chinese packager so I could simplify the supply chain.
Absolutely.
And I switched from air shipping to sea shipping so that the goods are now assembled in China and sea shipped over instead of air shipped and assembled in the U.S. And the reason is because it simplifies everything.
All right, so that's the third way to do the packaging. So we've talked about number one, packaging with a cheap Chinese packaging supplier separate from the supplier of your item. Number two, trying to get your current supplier to do packaging by asking in the initial email, and maybe they'll throw it in there for you. And then number three was putting a sticker or barcode on a box or a bag for you. And then, so why is it so important, packaging, or why do we like packaging so much? I know what my answer is to this.
Packaging is one of the cheapest ways that you can differentiate your product for the lifetime of the product.
Yeah. It's a very cheap way to put your brand on it. It's a very cheap way to differentiate, especially if there's not much marketing going on in your niche. All around great.
Okay. I think you summarized pretty well, so we don't need to wrap up with summaries. Guys, check out if you're listening to this and it's 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks ago. This came out 2 weeks ago. Check out amzanswers.com. We should have the course up there that will get you to your first grade item.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, join the Facebook community, the AMZ Answers community, and go to amzanswers.com for more info. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and we'll see you on the next episode, guys.
Bye.